All right.
Well, that's something I care about here. So.
It's 6:45, and we're gonna call the meeting to order. Call to audience. Anyone?
Jared Brock, College of Madison. I was just here to help iron out some stuff from the social event previously. I have nothing else to say. I'm just here to hang out. Thanks.
Jesse Baxter, I'm also just here to hang out with the group. I had a very interesting and good meeting with Pin B this morning, and he has all sorts of things that he would like us to plug into, and so I can talk a little bit about that now or later or send an email.
So you are actually one of our admins, which means that you're actually on the agenda, I think.
Fantastic.
Oh.
Then I'm not here to hang out, I'm here to be on the agenda. Let the record state.
Awesome. Approval of the agenda. We're supposed to do this before or after all of that. Anyways, approval of the agenda. Does anyone have anything you want to add, remove, or say about the agenda? If you approve, ayes.
I
Thank you. Okay, approval of the minutes. I think I mistakenly wrote the one for last meeting.
Wait, so are we amending the agenda then?
Well, she didn't say anything.
So it's the 9:12, should be 9:12 minutes, because, well, I sent out the 9:12 and then the 19th.
The 919 I sent you some corrections, but you
yeah,
don't.
Yeah. So the 9:12 though, no one submitted corrections. I sent it out 2 weeks ago or so I don't, if there's something, I don't know.
They want to just hang on to these till the next meeting.
Yeah, I feel like I might have forgotten to look at these, which is obviously my fault.
The
but
9/12 ones?
I think so. I think I forgot to look. So sorry about that. But if you wouldn't mind approving them next time. Okay. Wait, but you did. Oh no, we approved the other ones that you made corrections to last meeting, so that's been done already.
Which day? Alright.
Okay, am I getting a proposal to postpone or table
Yeah.
the amendments? Can we vote on that? Ayes?
Aye.
Nays? Abstentions? Okay, moving on to old business. Budget update. Jim.
Nothing new.
Okay,
Jim, did you figure out how much money we're assuming 40-hour work weeks and all of that? How much money we did not pay because Lexi's position was vacant for so long?
Not yet.
Are you planning on doing that?
Yeah, waiting to hear from this fellow on some figures.
And what about GEP sending out the proposals that were submitted?
That's not on the agenda.
It's part of the budget.
And nothing new to report.
So I guess we're not having that for the next meeting.
okay, does anyone have anything else to say on that point? Otherwise, we're moving on to our next item.
Oh, actually, no, sorry, one more thing on budget. Did you figure out exactly what the unallocated amount was after our last meeting? Since I know we earmarked that for travel, but we actually didn't know what the number was yet.
Yeah, waiting for confirmation.
Awesome. Repository. Wherein is not yet, Jim? Anything on that?
Yeah, why don't we invite Wade Wren to the next meeting and he can fill us in.
Cool. Nice point. Supreme Court. Daniel.
I'm going to be getting together with him again as soon as all the election stuff is done so that we can hopefully change the elections code before we take the next special election. But I don't actually know if that's what we want to do or not. So actually, because initially I said we'd wait until the spring with the Supreme Court. So we have two options essentially. So we either stick with the elections code as is, which means that any problems go to the EB board for appeal, or we try and quickly get the Supreme Court on on board, which I don't think they'd be super into. So I'm looking for direction here.
Any
Have you
comments?
gotten,
Go
have
on.
you gotten a number on how much they want to get
I
paid
haven't.
stipend wise? Okay. I would think that it's gonna be really hard for us to make a decision without knowing that number, unfortunately. So maybe that's just the first step.
Yeah, I will say that it's gonna be half as much if we wait till the spring. Just in general.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Megan?
I think you have to talk to them to see if they're even, I'm not sure that that's even possible
Yeah, I don't.
to have
think-
them on for this
I-
semester.
yeah.
Yeah, like you said, so
Like,
it might
really
be,
likely. I
right.
could give it a shot, but I won't if no one thinks it's a good idea. Okay. Did you have another question? Did you?
No.
Okay, and that's all I have for that.
Any other comments for Daniel? Okay, the absence of none, we'll move on to the next agenda. Chris is in here. I don't know if Megan, you wanted to speak for him. So we're gonna skip those two and move down to Marcus, their last call.
Yeah, I believe I said that before, but just in case if I didn't, sent an email to Eric of the different responses, things that we talked about here last time at the meeting. I didn't receive an email back of if he received any responses from any of the people at La Aldea, so I'll send a follow-up email for that. And I will continue to look into that and get some more suggestions from them. And if there's other individuals that find me for that.
So Jude and I are gonna be meeting with Todd Millay next week?
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah, 2 weeks from now. So if you have anything for us to bring up to him, I guess just sort of keep us posted.
Yep.
Okay, any other comments for Marcus? Or
Oh,
questions?
When is that meeting?
That's on the 19th, I think. Has it been either 18th or 19th?
We narrowed it down to 2 days.
It's either 18th or
let me
19th.
check.
It's 2 weeks from now.
It's either the 18th or the 19th, but we don't have an actual day yet.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments or questions for Marcus? All right, moving on, we're gonna move to our new business, support for campus pantry. I wanted to speak on that. We met with Mike Infeneghe, ASU president, a while ago to discuss what kind of support they wanted from us, GPSC, regarding the campus pantry. Like we discussed in our last GC meeting, support for one of our goals was to do something about the food insecurity amongst US students, and I think this would be a great way to show that support or to actually work towards our goal. I know Campus Pantry has an event they are planning, I think in 2 weeks, sometime this month.
Yeah, I think it's at the, I wanna say it's like October 28th.
Yeah, I know it's sometime, but I don't have the exact date.
Yeah.
So first thing, it's I wanted to ask if anyone has a strong objection to us giving out $1,000. Jasmine, correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the amount they're asking for?
Yes.
$1,000 for
$1,000.
the GA who's going to be working with
Ah,
them,
Not a GA, just a graduate
a
student.
grad student.
Yeah, so it'd actually just be, it'd be a stipend the way like EB members here get a stipend,
Yeah.
not tuition, enrichment, and all that.
And ASU wants to kind of do like a matching with us, so they'll provide 1,000. We'll give them one. We'll give the staff person 1,000 as well. I don't know, Jim. Looking at our budget, do you have any objections to that?
I would propose we submit it to the council for approval.
Okay. Any other person has any other objections or proposals or comments?
I think, Jesse, we were gonna talk about finding other options outside options for funding the campus pantry.
Yeah, can I jump in?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I have some ideas and would just like to kind of touch base with Daniel and then also probably with the campus pantry folks themselves. Having worked at the community food bank and familiar with a lot of the resources, yeah, try to find some outside support, including at the community food bank, the agency market. I think that we would be eligible, the campus pantry would be eligible to go get food either depending on service numbers every 2 weeks or every month. And it just depends on what the food bank has available. But we can go pick up food. to supplement the pantry that way, as well as some financial resources so we could potentially purchase food on a regular basis for that need. And then also working to enroll students in the feeding programs that currently exist. Several years ago, students, if you were enrolled in college, you could not get food stamps, but that has changed. And a lot of people are eligible for it, so doing an awareness campaign and helping people sign up for that. And anybody who receives TANF money is automatically eligible for food stamps, and so that could go a long way to supplement those efforts and potentially get them involved in enrolling people, and then that would leverage some money for them if they become a designated site to enroll people in those benefits. Then they would get some support that way for their staff and efforts.
Okay, so Jesse and I are going to meet as part of the legislative committee, meet up with bringing some other people, start working on this stuff, and trying to supplement the, instead of just giving them money, we can also do other things too.
Yeah.
So that's the plan.
Okay, are you guys proposing that we don't give them money or
No.
give them money in addition
This will be
to
an addition to
this?
this.
Okay,
We want
awesome.
to be, this will also be a way of showing, this will be a way of showing that we actually care about food insecurity, not just that we're giving them budget money.
Okay.
So I think this should be, I think we should do both. And I was like wanting to spend my time to, and have Jesse help me spend time getting this stuff.
Thank you.
Quick question for you, Jesse. Is the for the food assistance program, is that through the Healthy Arizona program, or is that a different organization?
It is, Healthy Arizona is one way to enroll in it. I mean,
Okay.
it's a federal program that is block granted to the state, so the state has Healthy Arizona that you can enroll that way.
Okay.
Okay, any other comments or questions for Jesse and Daniel? Great job, Daniel and Jesse. I really appreciate you guys taking lead on that. Thanks, both of you. So Jim has proposed that we send this to the General Council to decide whether or not we want to give out 1,000 to them. Jim, what I wanted to know is from the budget, do you think it's something we can actually afford at this time?
No, I personally don't think we can afford it, but again, I'd say submit to the council.
I would say, if we can't afford it, we should do it. If we can't afford it, then we can't afford it. That's my personal opinion, but I'm not the voting person here.
And the problem is our budget right now is, there's still a lot of uncertainty and noise. $1,000 is at the noise level, so I don't know if we're gonna end up, we're still early in the year, I don't know if we're gonna end up being short or not. If we keep spending $1,000 that we had originally budgeted for every couple of weeks, by the end of the year, we're gonna be in trouble. So, you know, I mean, yeah, some suggestion we submit to the council and let them decide.
I think this is one of those things that can go into those joint
That's what I'm
sponsorship
thinking.
things, at least partially. So Marquez's staff can at least partially fix this. And I think even if we can't get $1,000, we need to get as much as we can, because it doesn't actually matter if we give people travel grants if they can't afford to eat, to produce the research.
I mean, I agree with Daniel. I mean, this is something that students need very much. So if we can find money for it, then we should find money for it. I mean, however, if there's no money, then you can't kill yourself. I mean, I don't.
Well, conveniently, we completely forgot to discuss the constituency meetings budget line item. And if we cut that in half, which we really should, because no one's required to do more than one a year, and most people don't even do their one a year, so that's at least $900 right there that we already have that we know we're not going to spend. If we just make that official, instead of waiting to the end of the year and realizing we didn't spend it, that's $1,000 right there.
Alright, so I think
Where is it again?
it's in the
Um,
constituency meeting.
Yeah, the constituency meeting line item is $30 per semester per representative. However, that was created back when every representative was required to do 2 constituency meetings. They're now only required to do 1, and historically, doing 1 is overachieving, which means that we really should officially just reduce that part of the budget to only budget for 1 constituency meeting per year per rep. and cutting that item in half would save us about $1,000.
So I think that's the thing we take to the general council, is say
Yeah.
we're gonna cut this budget in half and put that money to the food bank.
Right.
And how much would that give us if we did that?
About $1,000. It's what I think it's 1,030 or no 1,020 makes a lot more sense. I think it's $1,020.
Okay.
34 times 30.
Okay, what I'd like to propose is that we actually have something concrete to take to the general council to avoid having another series of long and unproductive discussions. So if it's possible, Jim, if you can help us maybe, I don't know, some people have made proposals from getting it from the constituency, funding it. There are other places you think we can get money from. If you can, maybe just give us some ideas so that we make like proposals to the general council. Or like, we're thinking of funding this is what we're trying to get funding from. If you're opposed to it or if you agree to it, then let's do it. I think.
What are you asking me to do?
I'm asking if you'll be willing to, I'm asking if you can actually help us make clarifications as to places where we can get funding from to support this. I think from what I'm hearing from everybody, we want to fund this program, right? And we're trying to see where we can get funding from. So I'm asking if you can go through our budget and make proposals as to where we can get this funding from for our next general council meeting so we can discuss that and not have to have long and unnecessary discussions.
So you're asking to identify,
Well, for example, how much do we not spend on stipends over the summer? And just compiling that information and saying, well, we already budgeted to pay these stipends, we didn't, and therefore we can put this into campus
is that
pantry.
what you're asking me to do, Drew?
That's about what I asked you for.
Okay, so you're asking me to identify
I think this one was
unspent
clear enough,
monies
Jim.
that we could reallocate to this?
Yes,
Okay, I'll do that.
thank you, sir. Any other points or questions or clarifications on this, so we can move on from this?
Then probably just giving a few details as to a little bit more of what the 1,000 would go to,
Okay,
just so that they have an idea of the different things that that amount of money will be going towards, so that they have a wider idea as far as what it's going to,
And I
rather
guess
than just a general.
we didn't
Jasmine, would you
completely.
be willing to speak to Mike?
Yeah, does everyone want
Gates,
us to explain that right now too? Because I guess we give a really, or Jude gave a really brief overview, but we do have more details if people would like that now. Or would you want to hear it for the first time at the GC meeting?
I wouldn't mind hearing it now, just
Okay.
so when we
Yeah,
think I can be ready.
so the idea is the graduate student currently working in Campus Pantry actually basically started the whole project when she was a freshman here.
Well, when she was a grad. Well, it was spring of 2012. Michelle Sun. I was her supervisor when she started Campus Paint.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay, so I think there's actually 2 people who've been involved for a very long time then.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of these people, I think, got involved as a freshman. Maybe it was a little later. And since then, she's basically been working for free the whole time. And it's because she's really passionate about it, so this has been working, but she's basically on track to graduate. And when she graduates, people are anticipating it's going to be very hard to find someone willing to put in that much work into something they didn't personally help build without paying them something. And really, she should have been getting paid the whole time with how much work she was putting in. But we can't fix that. We can fix it going forward. So the idea is to pay $2,000 total. I think it's supposed to be $1,500 to the graduate student who's going to be taking over or working on it, and $500 for an undergraduate who's also going to be helping out. And so our $1,000, I mean, money is fungible, obviously, so it could really go to anything, but we can think of it as our $1,000 going to this graduate student.
Okay.
Sorry, this person's a current graduate student?
Yes.
One of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the undergrad is an undergrad, obviously, and the current graduate student's getting her master's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that ASUA is probably, or Campus Pantry is likely coming under ASUA as a service. I would have them come to your meeting.
Okay.
I think they make a really compelling story, and they're very professional, and they have statistics.
I think what I would probably prefer to do is have us discuss this without them there. And I mean, I'm guessing, I think most of us are pretty strongly in favor of this, and we can get the support whether they show up or not. And then after we've told them, we're totally giving you guys money, then they can show up and basically say like, thank you so much, we're encouraging you to show up to these things, etc. Just because right now it'd be like a 1 week notice. And
Oh, yeah.
I don't want a repeat of last time where they had like no notice and so couldn't show up and then looked really bad.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to give them a bit
Yeah,
more
no,
notice than
that's
that.
So you guys are gonna see them, you guys can see them soon? Is that what you're
We
saying?
haven't found a time our schedules all work
Okay.
yet.
All right, so what I would like to do is, if it makes the agenda, is just express our interest in having them come and say, when you can come, it's great. And
Okay.
I will find them 20 minutes
Okay.
anytime, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, that works. Thank you. Any other comments,
Condition.
questions on that so we can move on?
They are a 501c3 according to the website,
Oh, good.
which is fantastic news. We are not a 501c3, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct, okay. Do we have a 501c3 that we could apply for things under? Like under the umbrella of the U of A somehow?
Does the
Um,
foundation?
Well, yes, but I'm not sure. There's yes, Campus Pantry is deciding whether or not they're gonna give up their 501c3 for a variety of reasons. That because they can't participate in like UA Cares campaigns right now, or like get any funding from the UA Foundation or anything like that as a 501c3. So I think they're kind of weighing the benefits and disadvantages of having that as like a small entity that doesn't have somebody to like consistently keep up with the paperwork and like all of that kind of stuff. Because they're a primarily student-run organization right now. So, but yes, we have a tax ID number
Okay.
that we can't use. Yeah.
Awesome, great. I guess we are done with that topic unless someone has a very strong point to raise. Otherwise, the next point, internal committees, Jasmine.
Yeah, so, you probably already saw the email about external committees for reps. And it did not involve any internal committees. And I did get a couple questions saying, okay, I've got my external committees, but what about my internal committees? The thing is, I was hoping that we could all discuss where each of our internal committees is at right now, how many more people they'd like, and whether they already have their eye on people, and who's already on your committees. Because I actually have no clue because no information was shared with me. So, I can start. Research and project grants is pretty much good at this point. We've got, Sajin, Brandon, Adam, Raul, new at-large guy, and actually, Ezra is still on the committee. I know he resigned from
Ezra
his position.
Smith?
Yeah, he resigned from his position as institute director, but actually wanted to stay, specifically requested that he be kept on the research grants committee. And since we've actually had him on the research grants committee before when he wasn't part of GPSC, and he clearly knows it inside and out, I didn't see any problem with that. So we're actually great on people. So I'm fine there. But everyone I just mentioned, unless they're extremely passionate about something else, is not available to serve in any other internal committees. So just keep that in mind. So Jude, do you want to talk about how marketing is looking?
I think with marketing we're very fine at this point because our kind of work does not really require so much manpower per se. You have myself, Kevin, and the marketing admin, and then James as well. Although that's 4 persons, which I think it's even a little bit overcrowded already for marketing because most of what we do it's to post things on Facebook and for events maybe organize to print posters and all of that. So I think with marketing we have more than enough human resource that we need or manpower that we need to do the job. And I think the new marketing admin has also been doing quite a fantastic job with that. Another person that may kind of join our committee, I don't know how it's going to play out with a new administrative assistant. I know last year, I don't know what route we're trying to go this time around. Maybe we can have that conversation further in terms of the newsletters and all of that. That has kind of been on hold because I don't know what conversations they had with the marketing admin before she was hired. It seemed like no one told her that was going to be part of her job. And I don't know if we wanted the administrative assistant to continue with that like less they did in the past, or if it was going to be something the both of them work together. But I
think it is going to be. I think I'd asked before because people have been asking me.
Okay.
So it's going to be Ashley. I actually emailed her today and asked her.
Oh, it's going to be Ashley?
Yeah.
Okay, then we need to communicate that to her because the last time I tried to have that conversation with her, it appeared that I guess she wasn't told about that technically, or maybe she kind of
'cause she met with our person who does, for ASUA, who does the
When?
newsletter,
Is this
like,
recently?
2 weeks ago.
Okay, I think that meeting was probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago still. So maybe that was after our meeting, I don't know.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I was under the impression, because Zach also emailed me with her to be like, hey, talk to her about the newsletter.
Okay.
And she was on that email.
Okay, then I'll
So.
follow up with that to see, because I know we've not sent us anything in a month or so.
Yeah, and we have stuff that needs to go out,
Yeah.
so, yeah, I emailed her today, asked her, but I haven't heard anything, but I can keep you posted.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, with marketing, I think we are fine with people, unless you feel extremely passionate to join. Then you can submit your CV and we'll look to see if we need an additional amount. But other than that, we're fine. Yeah. I think it was good.
Me.
Yeah, Mark was.
Yes. So just with the social events that we have, really been able to just kind of do it with myself or other assistants with that. I did not look at the fully into the Excel sheets that you sent. to see if
Nothing
there's
useful for
anything
you,
on
don't
there.
worry about it.
Okay, great. I haven't received any information as far as who was interested in that, but at the same time, right now, I am just trying to catch up on the things that were already set and planned, and just working on collaborating with other events that people are wanting assistance with, and getting more involvement with that. So at the moment, it's just that. So whoever is available. I tend to make things really easy for whoever wants to be a part of it and just show up and here's your thing. So I think there might be a few other things that are probably necessary as far as numbers, and I can take others after that. So because right now we're okay. I'm okay.
Okay. I'll try to find you some people then, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Do you think 2 or 3 is about good?
Yeah.
More is probably gonna be a problem.
No, it wouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
It would be great, but I think that 2 or 3. would
Okay,
be-
well, so if more is not a problem, then I'll probably just be asking everyone, like,
Yeah.
hey, if anyone wants to be this committee, yeah, I'll speak about the details later, but,
Yes.
okay.
Jim, I think it's you next.
Well, we've run into a problem with there being no published procedures, no policies, no documentation, no handbook, no nothing on how to run the appropriations committee and what is considered a fair way to handle the applications. So I'm working with Megan and Chris. I think we're almost there.
Mhm.
We've got a procedure, I think, worked
We're
out
almost
now.
Fingers crossed, right?
Okay, so, I'm hoping by the 7th, maybe we can actually
Yeah,
have.
I would hope so.
Have everything in place
That would
and
be
get get through all the applications by
Mm-hmm.
14th.
sounds like a good plan.
That's our hope.
By the 14th?
Jim,
That's
do
our
you-
hope.
Yeah.
Do you have committee members now?
Yeah, we've got 5 members.
Oh, awesome.
Okay, could you rattle them off for me?
No, I could not.
Um,
Because just for the record, folks, if people want me to provide information, give reports, I need to know in advance, okay? I don't remember the names of 2 of the people. There's me, Ellen, the new guy from Optics.
He's not a rep.
That's fair enough.
Doesn't matter.
Jim.
Yeah, they don't need to
Jim,
be
if you don't
No,
know
he's
those
not,
names now.
no, he's not part of
Order,
GPSC.
please.
He's actually said he's not gonna be involved in the appropriations
Jasmine,
committee.
please.
Well, he didn't say it to me.
Well, I'm telling you right now, so you've got 4 people.
Okay,
Who else do you
so,
know?
Jasmine. Jim, if you don't have the names now, please send it to Jasmine, maybe later today, at the end of this meeting.
Sure.
I'm
Let's
gonna
not
say
forget that.
I really want them right now because.
Jasmine, he said he doesn't have the names right now. He's
Jasmine.
gonna send it to you
That's the
at the
problem.
end of today. It's not a
Jasmine,
problem.
How
That's not a
could I
problem.
possibly know
Jim?
you'd want the names of total strangers who
can
I've
you-
never met
Jim?
at this meeting here today?
You haven't met with your committee yet.
No, I haven't. We just formed it. We're defining the rules. We're defining the procedure. Stop harassing me, okay?
I'm not harassing you, Jim. I'm just trying to do your job.
Jasmine, I'm gonna ask that the both of you should not start with this.
So the issue is I'm trying to assign people to internal committees, but I need to know who's already been assigned because it's very irritating for the reps if I ask them for the second or third time, hey, what are you interested in for your internal committees? Because I know that some people have already been assigned, but I don't want to bother them, ask them again, when someone else already could have just told me, oh, they're on my committee, we're all good.
Okay.
And part of the issue is the people who are chairs of committees do need to know who's on their committee. So like this
Yes,
is
and I
really
do know.
critical
Jim,
information.
can you not interrupt these conversations, please? Jasmine, are you done with your points?
Like that is my point. I really need like every committee chair should have this information now.
Okay.
It should not be something they need to look up in 2 days.
Okay, noted. Jim has said he does not have that with him right now. Jim, I'm going to give you the benefit of doubt. Please, can you send that list to Jasmine today, right after
Can we
this
have
meeting?
Jasmine send me the communication from the optics guy saying he's not on my committee since he hasn't told me that?
He actually,
It was in person,
He actually told me he didn't want to be a part of GBSC at all because of how
Well,
awful the meeting
which
was.
is exactly what he told me as well.
Can
Yeah.
somebody have him tell me?
No,
Because
he's refusing to interact with anyone from GPSC. I'm not going to
From
force
what I-
him to talk to you face to face.
From
That's
what I,
fine.
From, hold on.
What's-
From what I
yeah.
learned, he's no longer in GPSC, which means that whatever agreements you
What I'm
had in
curious
terms
about
of
is
the committee, that's passed
if
now.
I'm the committee chair and he volunteered to be on my committee, why am I the last one to know he's not on my committee and everyone else seems to know?
Because Jim, when I asked him to fill out his oath, he kind of said no and walked away. So for whatever it's worth, I didn't find out about this till the end of the last meeting, and that was the first time I'd met the man. So
Right.
I don't know, when did you agree to be on your appropriations committee?
During the meeting.
During the meeting? Okay, well then,
And he doesn't have to be a member of GPSC to be a member of the appropriations committee. So I'm asking, do we actually have he has told someone he's not on the appropriations committee?
Yes, he has, very clearly.
Told who?
You don't want me to say it verbatim. I'm telling you in the simplest, politest terms possible, he has said he will not be on your committee.
Can you send me that email?
Why don't I just read it verbatim for everyone?
No, why don't you send me the email?
Well, because that seems like a waste of everyone's time.
Jasmine, I'm asking you to send me.
Jim and
And I'm
Jasmine,
refusing, it's not in an email,
again, I want to
Jim.
point out I'm not going to tolerate this from the both of you. Not in this meeting. I won't. And I'm very serious with it. If the both of you want to go back and forth with this conversation, take it elsewhere. Not in this meeting.
Yeah. So as far as I know, I have 5 committee members. One is the optics guy.
Jim,
Well,
how many times do I have to
Jasmine,
tell
that's
you?
enough. If you strongly believe that he's the part of your committee, please follow up with him and let us know the response.
Okay, I'm
Jasmine,
actually,
that's-
I'm
no, no.
objecting to this right now. Why am I objecting to this? Because he is overworked. He has already said in no uncertain terms that he will not be involved in this committee anymore.
Jasmine,
If
you
Jim
are not-
follows up with him, that is actually going to it is going to be detrimental to his mental health. I do not want you ordering Jim to follow up with someone who has already made it very clear that he does not want any further communications from GPSC. I am currently trying to protect one of my constituents.
Mind me if I did he send you that email to you?
It was a Facebook message, not an email, and it was also a personal conversation.
That he does not want to have any interface with GPS
Yes.
any longer.
Yes.
Can we do a
Jim?
screenshot of that?
Would you mind looking for someone else for your committee? You have 4 members already. How many persons do you need?
I'd like to have an odd number.
Odd number, so you want 1 more person. Do you want to look for 1 more person and give us the feedback by the next meeting?
Sure.
Okay, also, we're going to move on from that issue. Next person, please.
But I still need the names of who he does have on his committee by the
He's
end of
going
the
to
day.
send it to you at the end of today.
Okay.
And Jim, please send it to us at the end of today so we don't have this conversation next time. Please.
And again, for the record, has somebody requested that information, I would have presented it at this meeting.
We apologize that nobody requested it, but now I'm asking you to send it to at the end of today's meeting.
Certainly.
Is that enough time for you to do so? Jim?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Mara, I think you're up next.
I think I have enough numbers. I mean, the traditional number that we've had. So if any of the law students want to join, I mean, we previously talked about it, that we would like a law person on the committee. So if Ellen or Storm would be willing to join us and help us out with the governing docs, that would be wonderful. If not, then we'll just manage as we are.
Who's currently on the committee?
So I'm really bad with names. Jim and me, and then there's also Jennifer Sidler, yeah. So I mean, we've traditionally had that amount of people on the committee before. It has always worked. So
Are you gonna ask any staff members to join the committee? Because I know that's also been kind of traditional.
I mean, I don't know who would be willing. I kind of had a very mixed experience with staff members.
Okay.
Like it's worked one year, it didn't work the other year. So if any of the staff would be willing, or you, or
I think for some reason I feel like Chris had said that Janice was going to look for a older law student to potentially provide some insight. I don't know that for sure, so don't quote me on it.
Maria, do you want to follow up with her on that, or do you want me to follow up with her on that for you?
Let me ask Chris. I have a meeting with him tomorrow.
Why don't you,
So, yeah, I don't want Janice to be like, whoa.
yeah, and or one of the law students we have, I don't know,
Yeah.
if Storm or Ellen would be willing.
So Ellen's already on Jim's committee, and Raul is already on my committee, but I'll ask Storm if he's interested in being on your committee.
Yeah, if he's available, I don't want to
Yeah.
pressure him, if he's not, but
He's not currently on the committee that I'm aware of.
okay, if he agrees, I don't want to pressure him, but
Yeah.
I think it would be beneficial for us.
Oh.
Otherwise, I think we're okay.
How many persons do you need?
Just one would be fine, just
Okay.
like a law person. But as I said, if no one is willing, then we can manage.
I was going to ask you a follow-up question. I know we've had some conversations regarding our elections code, constitutions, and some of the documents. Are you guys planning to meet anytime?
Yeah, I was
Soon to
actually
have
thinking
conversations.
of setting up a meeting. I've been having some health issues, just starting end of last week, so I might be dealing with them this week for some time. I just went to see a doctor today, so I don't really know where it's going, but hopefully, hoping to do it very soon, as soon as I can. That was my intention.
Do you know when?
I
October, November, sometime?
well, you mean when I'm going to have the governing docs meeting?
Because I'm thinking if we can have like a proposal to the general council before the end of the year as to what changes we want to make. I don't want us to move into the new year and start having conversations to change elections code and all of that again. I'd like us to go through those discussions this year. That's why I'm asking if you guys will be meeting sometime to go through those documents and make proposals.
Well, yeah, we were gonna meet as soon as I was gonna send the emails, like, it was in my plan today, tomorrow. I just have health issues, so I'm trying to get that settled first, but yeah, as soon as we can, I'll send out an email. Yeah, I was waiting to see if any of the law people would be interested, but I can, if it's taking some time, we can meet without them, and if no one is willing, then we'll just meet as we are.
Okay. Please keep us updated. I think Daniel, you're up next.
Yep, so legislative, haven't had any meetings recently, it's basically just been me and Jared for a while, but now that Jesse's here, we're gonna start integrating that a little bit more, so it's us three right now.
Jared?
Jared,
Okay.
me, and Jesse, and I would like some new people. 2 or 3 would be fine, like more the merrier, especially I would like somebody, if, I know that the Title IX task force is probably really busy, but if someone would want to liaise between us, because I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and just any of the new people who are passionate about just generally anything, but I'm going to be food security and stuff,
Okay.
so
Were you told that Danielle was on your committee?
I don't know.
Because
Is she?
that is like the one person I was told was already put.
All right, well then Danielle's
So-
on our committee.
Okay,
so
I'll tell her
that'll
that
say-
officially in case she
Okay,
wasn't
yeah,
sure,
so-
and I'll CC you
Yeah,
in
that
case you weren't
makes,
sure.
that makes sense, that explains why we've been talking a lot. Okay. So then it's us 4, so another person or 2 would be
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
Anybody who wants to join in is welcome.
Okay. Cool. So then, it looks like Marquez is gonna take the lion's share of anyone who's not already assigned. But then you'll be getting at least one new person. I'll be checking with Storm, and then if Storm's a no, I'll check with maybe a couple other people who I think might fit the bill. For Maria.
I prefer the law persons. That's exactly, that's what we need. Otherwise, we already have, for governing docs, we have
And,
to require.
you know, I actually tried, you know how there was the write-in from Law, who got like 70 votes or something? I actually tried to get her for you, but she said she'd rather just run for GPSC officially next year and then join then. So yeah, no guarantee you'll be able to get a law rep, but,
If it's not Storm, then, I mean, and the other,
Yeah.
then we're fine. I mean,
Okay.
we really, that's what we're talking about, like the law rep in particular, because, I mean, it'd be good to look at, if they can look at stuff.
good experience for them too, right?
Yeah, that's what I think.
Okay, cool. And then what I'm thinking is, because we don't have enough spots for everyone, honestly, we've got way too many reps, which is always a good thing. We want as many people as possible. But since we're gonna have too many reps to hold them all on our internal committees, I'm figuring I'm gonna basically give the extras to Janelle and just be like, hey guys, if you wouldn't mind just committing to an extra travel grants round, then we're gonna count that as your internal committee participation and call it good. So unless people have other ideas, the other suggestion would be, if we don't have enough people filling the external spots, then just give some people an extra external committee and not an internal committee. But it looks like we've got enough people to fill the external spots, so.
Do we, are there any ad hoc committees that we're talking about? I seem to remember some discussion.
Just travel grants,
Just
just
travel
giving them
grants.
to Janelle, yeah.
Alright.
I think Janelle was gonna come at some later meeting to actually discuss that with us, because I know she said she would like possibly to have a travel grant committee. RIP has a committee, but travel grant does not have one, and she usually has these tons of applications and difficulties trying to actually find people who would commit to, reviewing those applications. So that sounds like a good idea. Maybe at the next meeting she can come and give us a breakdown as to our plans for that and get our thoughts on that. Another thing on internal committees, Jasmine?
I think that's it on internal committees.
Okay, so next then it's you again. Okay, Jim?
Yeah, so the other two people on the appropriations committee are Mary Caitlin Valentinson and Janet Cooley.
And these are both not affiliated with GPSC, right? Okay.
Are they all grad students?
Yeah, Mary Caitlin is, and Ms. Cooley is a professor, assistant professor.
Okay.
Is that allowed?
Yeah,
Okay.
anything's allowed.
Should
Okay, and they're committed to working with you, right?
So, yeah, and I did clear everyone in the committee with Chris ahead of time.
Okay.
So,
Okay, thank you. So I guess you have Jasmine. Next point, external committees.
Yes. So, along the same lines as internal committees, what external committees have people already been assigned to? Because no one told me anything.
Okay. I told you.
Actually, okay, sorry, if I sent you an email personally, then I figured it out. And I
Okay.
think that's Daniel, Marquez, and Jude.
Yeah.
What about
Okay.
me?
Yeah, so I think we probably need to talk a little bit more about that, maybe. Basically, library is not as much a time commitment as the major committees. And so I would prefer if you could be on 2, because that's how it's written. If it's a minor committee, then you need to be on 2 external committees, not just 1. So.
Is campus, rec,
Was
parking
that-
and transportation, is that available?
Oh. well,
Maybe. So no one has signed up for Commission on the Status of Women yet.
Okay, well, I want Commission on
Oh,
Status of Women.
actually, sorry, let me double check that. Just
Alright.
Can I have parking
I'm
and
on
transportation?
parking and transport, so you can have
That's what
parking and transport.
That's why there's a negotiation going
You
on.
can just have it.
Okay.
That's fine with me.
Okay, thank you.
If the Commission on the Status of Women is open, I'd like to be on that.
Okay.
If not, then we can talk about other options.
Okay. The actual issue is that it's not clear the Commission on the Status of Women is still active.
Oh, well, that is a problem.
Yes, I did double check that.
Okay.
And
This
never
explains-
received a
This
response.
explains a lot.
Yeah, which was a week ago.
Okay.
So you might not be able to have Commission on the Status of Women.
Maybe I'll restart it. Alright, so,
That would totally count as your external committee.
alright, so,
Okay, so it sounds like we cleared it,
we'll
Maria.
chat.
So
Is
I'm
it
gonna
for
be, I'm
parking
gonna
and
be-
transportation?
okay,
I'll
that
send
works.
that
works.
information.
Okay, that works.
Great.
for me.
Okay, then Jim. I sent you an email, never got a response.
You get your email, should we send it?
It was a while back. So
How-
as long as there's not a club and POD admin, and I believe ours resigned on the 1st, then you need to be on the ASUA Club Appropriations Committee.
Actually, I don't. I asked Chris, he said I don't, and you're just making that up, so.
I'm in
Sorry.
charge of assigning committees. So you can't ask, okay, this isn't like you get to go to your mom and say, hey, can I do this? When she says no, you get to go to your dad. It's actually just me. And this is actually the committee that we need you to be on if we don't have a club and POD admin. So this is just your responsibility.
Are you, well, talk to Chris about it. I'm going with what he told me, so.
Okay, that's not how this works.
Yeah, it is. I'm done having a conversation with you guys.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is you're refusing to do your job, which is fine. You're allowed to do that,
No,
but that is
Jasmine,
what you're
I
saying.
said
Jasmine.
You sent me, you sent me an email
Yes, informing you.
No, saying that I'm on some committee. You have no authority to do that, as far as I know.
Yes,
asked
I do.
Chris, he said, no, you can ignore it.
Well, can you
So
forward me Chris's
that's
email
what we
then?
did.
Jim.
Sorry, for
are
the
you-
record, what committee is it
It's the ASUA Club Appropriations Committee.
again? Okay.
So that's not a GPSC committee?
It is. GPSC has a spot on it. It's an external committee.
Are you
It was
currently
actually
in a
in the
committee?
list that.
Pardon?
Are you currently in any other committee?
No.
Okay, I think it's also a requirement to actually be on an external committee.
It is.
For a rep.
Yes.
So were you planning to be part of another committee?
I'll be on whatever committee I'm assigned to.
So I think she just mentioned that she assigned you to.
I in fact already assigned you to this committee.
ASU.
She did not assign me, she did not send me an email saying,
Yes, I
"Ma'am,
did.
am assigned."
Jasmine, can you let him get to his point?
Well,
You don't
he's
have
currently
to
lying,
interrupt
so-
him, please.
What did you say, Jasmine?
You're
Jim,
lying.
go on with your point. Jasmine,
Hang on,
Jasmine.
continue, what am I lying, what did I say was a lie?
You said that I did not send you an email with what I literally sent you.
Okay, so let me finish. Jasmine did not send me an email telling me she was assigning me to a committee. She sent me an email that said, because Samantha Resnick is quitting, you have to be on this committee. I took that as a, her just, I did not take that as an assignment to the committee. I asked Chris, do I have to do this? And he said no. So if it is a committee assignment, I will confer with Chris and see if this kind of is harassment or something legitimate, and I'll respond appropriately.
So Jim, I sent you this on September 11th and said, let me know if you have any questions. Clearly you had questions, but apparently you never let me know. I'm really confused as to what exactly you were even trying to do. Well, I've already assigned you to committee, Jim. If you don't want to show up to the committee, that's fine, but this will be noted as you not fulfilling that job responsibility, which is fine.
Stop talking to me.
Jim, do you have any strong objections for not wanting to be in a committee?
Yeah, I'll get with Chris, we'll work it out.
This is not something that Chris is in charge
please.
of.
Jasmine, hold on.
Jim,
Jasmine, please.
you are undermining my
Jasmine,
position right
Jasmine,
now.
I am
Understand
not.
that.
I am not. You are actually undermining my position. I'm not going to take that from you. I am leading this meeting, not you. So please calm down. Jean, I asked, is there a reason why you don't want to take that committee? Is there a reason why you don't want to be in that committee? Is there a reason why
Well,
you're having this
as far as I
argument?
know, I'm not even aware that that's an actual external committee at this point.
It is, and
No.
you're supposed to be in one, and I think it's been
Yeah, I don't
assigned
have
to
a
you.
problem
Jasmine
serving
had a responsibility to
external-
assign committees to you, and she did so. And I don't think there should be
Well,
any reason for any arguments.
yeah, no, actually Jasmine did not communicate anything to me that
Okay, I think
conveyed
it's
to
been
me,
communicated
that
right
would
now.
convey to a reasonable person that this was a GPSC
Okay.
committee assignment.
Okay, I think that has been communicated right now, that you were assigned to that committee. So is there any objections to it right now? The idea of I'll talk to Chris about it.
Yeah,
So-
see, I'll respond to you in writing, all right?
Okay. So what do you want to say?
I was thinking, is there any way for Jim to, if there is a need for him to do an external committee, can he choose his own committee or see at least how much commitment each of the committees will be?
Well, so I already sent out the spreadsheet showing all of the committees that need to be filled and with everyone's name listed. And Jim's name was listed as one of the people who needed to pick another committee. Because as soon as we have a new club and POD admin, that person would go onto the ASUA Club Appropriations Committee. Jim has not put his name next to anything, so as far as I know, he has no intention of signing up for a committee. He's free to prove me wrong.
I think it'd be a good idea to talk to Chris because the ASUA Appropriations Board really does need a graduate student to sit on it. They actually asked me about it today. So if you're willing to do it, I think perhaps maybe a bigger question is does the time, because they meet at a specific time, does their time work for you? So, I mean, I think talk to Chris and see whatever, but they do actually really need a grad student to sit on it, so I know it's a needed spot.
It's not just that. Officially, GPSC has a spot on that committee.
No, I understand, but that's what I'm saying. They don't have it right now, and they asked me today about if there is a grad student that is it will be coming. So I know they need one, it'd be good to have.
So, do they have, so is it my understanding that the Appropriations Committee has a slot for a GPSC representative, and they also have a slot for the Club POD administrator?
No, it is the club, I think it is usually the club POD person.
But we currently don't have one, and they have a spot for GPSC.
So
So as far as I
someone needs to
understand it, ASUA Club Appropriations has a spot for a GPSC member. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be the club and POD person from GPSC, but that's something we decided internally, not something ASUA is imposing on us.
Right.
Because we currently don't have a club and POD administrator, it falls to the treasurer. And this is, I believe, entirely on the spreadsheet that Zach sent out back in May.
Jasmine,
There's no documentation, there's absolutely nothing that says that job falls to the treasurer. You're making that up.
Did you check what Zach sent out in May?
Jasmine, a quick question. Jim, hold on, please. If we hire a different admin for that position, is he still going to be in that
No.
committee?
The admin would take over,
So he just needs to be in that committee pending the time where I hire someone else. Is that what you're saying?
ideally.
Now, if he leaves that committee, I think he also needs to be in another committee to fulfill
Yes.
his responsibility. So what other committees is Jim serving in? Are you serving in any other external committee?
No, he has not signed up for any.
I have not been assigned to any committees.
Okay.
I did ask Zach on several occasions to assign me to several different committees, and never heard back from him on what he was going to do.
You have a point, sister.
I was just gonna say, Jim, maybe if you wanna look at the committees and you can ask Zach or how
Zach
much.
is no longer in the
Well, ask you, ask Jude, ask you how, or whatever, how much time it's going to take for, or how much you might be interested looking at the descriptions and seeing what you like.
Yeah,
And what
thanks, no,
you would be interested
I'm
in?
perfectly happy to work on any committee I'm assigned.
Jim, here's what I'm going to propose. Please go through all the committees we have and let us know what committee you want to serve in before the end of the week. Is there enough time for you to do so?
I have no preference.
You have no preference. So you've been assigned to the appropriation committee. Sorry,
ASUA Club
ASU
Appropriations.
Is that okay?
Like I said,
preference.
I would like.
I just assigned you to the committee. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. He's in the committee. What's the next point on that?
Does that really need to take 10 minutes?
20.
20? That's
Are you
fantastic.
done?
I think so. As long as everyone around the table agrees that they've been assigned to their external committees at this point, except for maybe Daniel. who's-
Marcus, are you in some committee?
She emailed me saying I was on the university fees committee. I wasn't told I was on that committee, but I'll be on it just so that
Okay.
we can have somebody on there. So
Yeah.
there you go. I
Okay.
have nothing involved with fees, but I will learn.
If you don't like it, you're welcome to go through the list instead.
I'm just here to work, so there we
Oh,
go.
okay, I'll stick you in university fees then.
Team
Yep.
Yep.
Jasmine, Labor and Human Rights or Student Affairs Policy Committee or whatever, if you can't find a commission on one.
Okay, I will keep you in mind for those two.
All right, thank you.
Is that for Daniel?
Yeah,
Okay.
because the committee he wants to be on might not exist.
Oh, okay. Okay, are we done with the external committees? Any other person
should
has
be.
anything to say? Any other points? Any questions? Any clarifications? I think we just clarified that Jim, you're on that committee. Is that correct?
Sure.
Okay.
Did you want to assign me to another committee as well?
No,
don't know where to put me.
I think that's fine. If you want another committee, talk to Jasmine. She is actually currently in charge of that. So if you wanted an additional committee, feel free to talk to her. Or you can also talk to me as well.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's about internal committee. So if I don't get anyone, I'm just gonna, in the near future, and I do want to get the meeting started, I'll start the meeting. And if there's anyone else who
Yeah.
is added to the committee, as does the law, then we'll get them as they come.
I would recommend just starting your committee, like schedule a committee meeting now, and if you get a new person before that meeting happens, just tell them when it is, but don't try to reschedule on their behalf.
Please also let me know when you plan to have your meetings.
I'll let you know when we do schedule it. I'll try to schedule as soon as possible, and then, because I'm myself, I'm interested in scheduling. So I'll try to do it as soon as I can, and then I can notify you.
Okay, if we're done with that, we're going to move on to our last point for new business for today, and that's going to be me. I coined it setting EB goals and ground rules for meeting because I just didn't think of a better way to express what exactly I had in mind regarding this. I know we're all adults and we really don't need anybody to give us some sort of ground rules as to how we want to run our meetings. Pardon me, I don't know what's happening to me. And we've also had previous conversations as to what our goals are for the academic year. We've had Gerard brought up a very fantastic point with the General Council where we had to discuss our goals as a General Council, what we wanted to achieve for the year. As EB members, we also had our specific goals as to what we wanted to achieve. In a minute, I'm going to ask you one thing that matters most to you for the rest of the academic year. And it's going to be everybody talking. I'm going to ask you one thing that matters most to you, one thing you really want to achieve in this position before you step out, which is going to be in about 7 months. And the reason why I'm doing this is I want us to have a clearly defined direction. Unfortunately, we've had meetings where it's been mostly about us and not those who represent. I don't need to remind us that we're in this position because even though we say 9,500 grad students and we know that way less than that number of votes, technically we're in this position because 9,500 grad students or more decided to have us lead them, which means that we're responsible and accountable to them and not to ourselves. So our meetings should not be for us or on us, but about grad students. And that being said, I also wanted to clarify some previous issues that has been, around for a while. This is going to be the first time I talk about it publicly, and this is going to be the last time I talk about it publicly. And the reason why I'm doing this is, going forward, I do not want anybody to bring this up again to me, especially in our meetings. There's been argument as to some sort of unstated goals by some EB members to do whatsoever to other EB members. I want to clarify that as an individual, I do not have any record of those unstated goals, and I'm not going to work with any unstated goals, and I don't support any one of them, whatever those goals are. If somebody feels passionately about something, bring it up to the table for discussion, and we'll have a conversation. And that being said, I would also like to clarify that I do not and I would not support any one of us not doing our responsibilities. And I want to make that very clear. I will personally be the one to take it up with anybody who consistently decides to fail on doing his or her responsibilities. And if I have to be pushed to the point where I would have to file an impeachment, I'll be more than happy to do so. And it's not because I have anything against you, it's not because I hate you or because I don't like your face or because I don't want you in the council, but because I am determined to build a council that is accountable, and that's a strong word for me. So going forward, if there's anybody who really believes strongly that you don't have the time to do your responsibilities, or you don't feel motivated to do your responsibilities, I welcome you to submit a letter of resignation, please. But if you want to stay in the council, you want to remain in GPSC, you understand what your responsibilities are, you understand what is expected of you, please, I don't want a situation where you have to make somebody remind you to do your job repeatedly, again and again and again, and we have to come to meetings and somebody will have to always attack you or another person to do your responsibilities. Whoever decides not to do their responsibility, I'm saying this to everyone clearly, I will be the one to actually take it up with you. And don't think that I'm doing it because I hate you or because I don't want you in the council. We're going to do it because I believe in us being accountable to the people we're serving. That's one point I wanted to clarify. Yeah, go on.
So I support that as long as it's a conversation. And I'm not talking about you, I'm just talking about in general. I've just had experience, some negative experience in general. So if it's like, if you notice something is not working, someone's not doing something, when you talk to them, maybe, you know, just say, okay, this is what I want you to improve in, and I want you to improve in by this time, and if not, we're gonna meet again and talk about what's not working, and then if it doesn't work, then we'll have to do something about it. But not like, if you see something not happening, don't always, like, even, like our previous vice president, when he went to the NAGPS conference, he made a presentation about why people might not be doing something. And one of the multiple reasons why people might not be doing something is not because they don't want to do it, it's because either they can't do it, or they don't have the resources to do it, or they don't understand that they should be doing it, or they're doing something but not to the standards that you expect them to. So if any of us ever have any issues with each other, it would just be great if we can talk things through before going to any extreme measures or suggesting any extreme measures, so that people have time to prepare themselves and get better if they can, and so that we don't have to have any extremities going on, and we can all kind of try to do our jobs peacefully and help each other.
Thank you. Any other person wanted to say something in response to that? I'm hoping that it's a pretty clear point, and I'd also, in response to what you said, Mara, I agree with you on many fronts. I would also mention that maybe not everybody may have the time to actually come remind you consistently of what you're supposed to do. And while I can do that, everybody may not do that. I don't expect it from everybody. I think when you signed in for positions, we all decided we knew our responsibilities and we agreed that we're going to do them, and that's why we signed a contract. I think I recall signing a contract that has a list of the responsibilities I was supposed to do. I don't know if every other person did that.
It's just the GAs.
Or just the GAs, but at least those of us in this position that ran for some positions, we knew what was expected of us as executives and as reps, and we agreed to do so. Yeah.
I agree with you completely. The thing is, a lot of and I'm saying this as an addition, not as a negation of what you said. So some of the responsibilities, there's multiple ways to interpret, and so it's very important if there's any open interpretation of, and I know that as a governing docs chair, a lot of the responsibilities, it's very hard to judge how exactly and specifically someone is fulfilling their duties or not. Now, some of it's easy if there's some timetable or something, but if it's general, someone can say, oh, you're not doing this, or you're not doing it to the extent that I want you to be doing this. And so in that case, it's necessary. It would be better for us all that if we can clarify that or talk about it before we go to any extreme measures, and everyone doesn't need to, make sure everyone else is doing their jobs. I mean, if that's time consuming, but if the person who is unhappy with someone else can talk to them beforehand in a peaceful manner and explain what they don't like or what they want changed or how they think the other person is not doing their duties, maybe if you can be present there as well. If you have some concerns, maybe you can meet and then in a sort of peaceful way and explain, what exactly it's not happening, but then not, without any threats, not that you would do it, but without any sort of I just had a negative experience. I'm not referring to you at all. And so that way we can all be on the same page. And if someone doesn't understand that what they're doing is inadequate, that they have some time for correction. I just talked with Chris about it last year, so Chris is on the same page with me on that. So it's not something I'm making up. But I totally agree with what you're saying.
Actually, on that topic, I think what might be helpful for everyone is if you just sort of glance through your responsibilities before each meeting, and then for your report, because it looks like we're actually going to have time for reports, which is cool. Basically, just hit on each of your responsibilities if you have nothing else to say for your report. That way, even if you're not done with something, or even if you haven't completed something that people might be expecting you to have completed, you can at least get a status update. You can at least say, I'm working on this, it's still on my radar, like it's taking a little longer than expected, but here's the progress I've made. That way, there isn't any ambiguity, and people don't just jump to conclusions and assume you haven't been doing something, because at least you've said, look, I know I'm supposed to be doing this, don't worry about it. And also a reminder for all of us who don't remember what all our responsibilities are, it's always nice to have that refresher every couple of weeks anyway.
You wanted to say something, Dan?
I agree with basically everything that's been said.
So
Jim.
are you saying that if you perceive someone hasn't done their job, you're going to impeach them? Or are you saying if you believe someone hasn't done their job, you're going to tell them what needs to be done, and then if they don't do it, you're going to impeach? If you clarify where the impeachment comes in. I'm sorry, what's funny, Jasmine?
This seems like a very
Not
strange
just
thing to ask for
you,
clarification
Jasmine,
on.
I think the question was for me. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, well, so with the understanding of it all, I think the whole point of it is just to make sure that we are going about our meetings in a professional manner, and making sure that we are just doing the things that we are supposed to do. And correct me if I'm wrong, but in Jude's position as being the leader of GPSE and especially the executive board, if we are continually, not just on a single time basis, but continually not fulfilling the duties of which that we are supposed to do, then conversations will happen further from that. I don't think the impeachment thing is going to happen immediately, but without like conversations or anything with that person, he just wants to make sure that everybody is understanding on what they're supposed to do, the expectations, and that everybody's on the same board with that. I don't think that impeachments are going to happen, but just to kind of get that around and through.
I think just from my experience, and I'm not trying to urge someone to do something or other. I think people function best in doing their jobs in like a friendly environment. So if someone feels that they might be impeached or their stipend might be cut or they're going to be asked to leave the organization, they're less likely to do their jobs well and less likely to want to do their jobs better. And they might view the individuals who they feel are threatening them as aggressors and might not want to interact with them or have anything to do, which is going to further make it hard for us to work in our organization. So I think the best thing is not to say that this is going to happen, but rather to have open conversations and just talk. If our goal indeed is not impeachment, but to make ourselves better and make us a functional organization, then we should try to establish a friendly environment in which we can do our jobs and not feel threatened and have to go to psychologists or have health issues or not want to do your jobs because you feel you're not getting your stipend paid or you're going to be impeached anyway. And I mean, it's just better for us all for the organization, for reps, for our mental health, for our physical health, for our jobs, for other responsibilities at the university. If we can all feel that we are not feeling threatened, that we still have possibilities to improve in our jobs, and we still have possibilities to do our jobs without having to leave the organization early for multiple reasons, that there is still reason for us to be part of the organization and do our jobs, basically.
I did seriously want you to answer my question.
I think Marcus answered it already, but if you wanted another answer, I think you asked this question because are you worried that you might not be doing your responsibilities, or that this one applied to you specifically? Never mind, you don't have to answer.
You said that you were going to.
To answer your
impeach me.
question very clearly,
Yeah.
Jim, if you, as an example, last week I sent you an email twice requesting a meeting with you. 2 of those emails you ignored it, you never responded to it, and you never did set up a meeting with me.
Yes,
Excuse me, I'm still trying to get to my point. While I would choose not to get offended by that, if that continues, and if you continue not to do your responsibility, and I try to talk to you about it, and you don't listen to me, I will be the one to go down the route of an impeachment. I don't want to see you go, I don't want to impeach you because I don't have a problem with you, but if I continue to try and get to talk to you, to do your job, or to understand your role in this organization, and you continue not to do it, I will be the one to go down the route of an impeachment. And it's not just about you, it's not just to you. If Daniel does that, I will do same with Daniel. If it's Marcus, if it's Maria, if it's Jasmine, if it's any other person in this organization, I will do that. So it's not just about you, if that answers your question.
Yeah, I asked to meet with you. You responded and said, and basically accused me of not meeting with you about GPSC business. It was my request to meet with you, not your request to meet with me.
When was that?
I asked to meet with you after the last GPSC meeting,
And what was my response to you?
that you would meet with me.
So
You
when I
then-
sent you the email the following day, what was your response? Nothing.
Yes, because this is an
2
email.
days after, what was your response? Nothing.
Yeah,
But I don't want to get into
excuse
all
me.
of that. That's in the
But
past.
you just brought it up, and you said that that was me not doing my job.
I didn't say that was doing your job. I
Right.
just said that if
And
I
you said
continue
if
to
that
try and reach
continues, you're
out to
going to
you,
impeach me. Now, Jude, I asked to meet with you. I didn't have time to meet with you. It's not that important to me. My request to meet with you was not that important to me. You weren't asking to meet with me, and I was not refusing
I
your
was.
request to
Alright,
meet.
I was, but I wouldn't go that down
This is
discussion.
again a
Justin.
conversation that should be happening
Jim.
elsewhere.
Jim, I made my point very clear already, and it's very simple and straightforward. You or any other EB member who consistently refuse to do their job, we would not accept it, and it's as simple as that. I think
And-
that point is clear enough, and I don't want to continue on that. I don't want to continue on that. I'm not going to lead this organization based on friendship.
No, I'm not asking,
If-
I'm not suggesting
If
anything
friendship
like
means
that.
that we will not do our job,
No, that's exactly what I don't want to happen. I've had that experience also, but, I think it's important, as I said, to consider that impeachment not as a light measure. I mean, cutting stipends or impeaching someone is very serious, and, I mean, if there's anything else we can do to improve our organization before we go to extreme measures, we should attempt that first. I think that's politically better for us, and in general, I mean, there's always the possibility of impeachment or any other options. But if we can try other things first before going there, I think it would just be more comfortable for people.
okay, thank you. I'm going to move on that point because we don't have so much time anymore. I just wanted to clarify that, and I think I did already. And like I said, I'm speaking about this publicly for the first and the last time. Going forward, I don't want anybody to come ask me what is your position on anybody's goals. Nobody should ask me that question anymore going forward. I don't want to entertain that question, whether at a meeting or outside of a meeting. That's my position on that. Back to talking about EB goals, that's what I wanted to talk about quickly, and then probably have to set some minimum acceptable standards for our meetings. I don't want to come to meetings where anybody feels the need to hijack the meeting, or where some individuals think that the meeting is going to be about them going back and forth. That's not the kind of meeting I want to handle, and that's not the kind of meeting I want to have going forward in this year. So with our goals, I know we all have a clearly written goals as to what we want to do for the year. Unfortunately, I removed that from the agenda, but I want to believe that you know what your goals are, and you don't have to list everything to me all over again. And my simple question to the 6 of us who are part of the EB board right now, what is that one thing that you want to achieve in the next 6 or 7 months that you have in this administration? Because I think if you don't have that thing in your mind, that clearly defined goal, you're just going to keep on actually doing nothing and causing a lot of trouble for us. So the question which I want to go around for everybody right now is, what is the one thing you want to achieve or you want to do for this organization? And Maria, please do a job. Please help us with taking notes on that one thing that everybody wants to achieve going forward. Marcus, do you want to start?
Sure. I'm trying to come up with a catchy thing. Right now it's all with C's. I've got 2 of them right now. It's just establishing community and connection. So right now I'm just trying to keep going with some of the things that were already established before I stepped in. But I think the big thing for me is to continue on communication with a lot of different types of graduate students that I wouldn't necessarily be involved with, or the group as a whole, and just maintain, what did I say, communication already? Communication and collaboration, there we go. Those are my 2 C's.
Gorgeous.
I wasn't expecting something that's... that's
Hopefully
really
there will be
fancy.
more C's happening later, but I've got 2 C's right now.
So you say community and communication, or communication and community, right?
Community and collaboration.
Sorry,
Ooh, and community.
Can you get, yeah.
let's be clear. Did you say community and collaboration or community and communication?
You should really
Collaboration.
just take the communication too, though.
Yeah, put all 3 of them. Another C.
So
That's great.
communication,
Yeah.
I
collaboration.
really threw off one of you.
Well, 4's my lucky number. I will find that 4th one.
Communications and collaboration.
He's collaborating on it.
So Jim, you're up next.
Well, since Marquez did 3 Cs, I'll do 3 As. How about advocacy, assistance, and action? Those are gonna be my goals.
The reason why I don't, sorry, this is not to you specifically now. Again, I want us to have something that we're really passionate about, because it's one thing that we are going to check ourselves on for the rest of the year. We're going to come back to meetings and ask ourselves where we are on this thing. So don't throw any words around because you want to give a fancy word. We're going to ask you going forward, where are you on achieving that thing? Again, I'm going to get to talking about mine, but a lot of you already know that one big word for me going forward is accountability. And I'm going to start by holding us in this room accountable. That's going to be my first step. So whatever word you're throwing around to us right now, that should be a word you're going to hold on to, and you're actually going to work towards it for the rest of the year. So, sorry I interrupted you.
Can I go back and give more descriptions for us? Because I think I set the precedent for that, and if I go back and give a little bit more description,
Okay.
then I think it'll help as we go along. In terms of collaboration, I think it is key in order to make sure that we are being able to work with different groups on campus so that we can use the resources that we may not be able to tap into easily, so that we can make our businesses run a little bit more smoothly or have a better success rate with the things that we are trying to be involved with. Communication, that's going to be a big thing for me, especially as the CFA rep, because from the website, there are 339 graduate students, and at the moment, I am only able to really communicate with a few of the theater arts students and our dance majors. So that's going to be a big thing for me to communicate not only with those graduate students, but their graduate advisors, to maintain that and be able to actually meet and see all those individuals that I could be meeting, but I'm not able to communicate with. So actually being a little bit more proactive with that. I think that kind of helps set the precedent for moving forward with that.
Jim, you want to clarify your goals?
Gosh, since I'm gonna be held accountable for it, give me a little time to think about it. Let's come back to me, okay?
Okay, Maria, you're up next. Oh, sorry.
Can I jump in?
Sure.
Okay.
Tell us where your goal is.
My goal would be to train and support a group of graduate students as advocates. We're all graduate students for a temporary time in our lives, but we will hopefully be involved in community and have things that are important to us forever. And in order to be effective in doing that. It's a special skill set, and I've sat on the other side of that table for many years, and I've seen many people advocate poorly for things that they are very passionate about, and it's not effective, and it's a waste of their time, really. And so I think that's a skill set that everyone who's involved in GPSC at any level, the fact that they chose to come be part of this group shows that they have that passion and desire. And so I would like to train a group and then support them in the things that matter to them and the things that matter to this council and board.
Thank you, Jesse. I actually recall the statement you made to me during one of our meetings, how that a lot of us educate rather than advocate. And I'm glad that you're taking that step to teach us, starting with me, on how to actually advocate, because that's one of my things too, rather than educate. So Myra, you're up next.
Just a second. So, sorry, I'm typing.
Do you want us to come back to you?
No, it's fine. So I think my goal would be to support anyone interested in helping graduate students, and help them in any way I can as well, especially if it's anything related to sexual assault awareness, etc. But in general, if there's any issues I hear, or anything I see myself as an international student, to try to resolve those issues and support people in doing it in any way I can, including if I do go to NAGPS, there's a possibility of that to try to, because last time there were a lot of international students there, and they were presenting on international student programming at their universities. If I have a chance like that again, I'll use that as much as I can in my position. So yeah, support.
So support for graduate students, especially in areas regarding sexual assault.
Yeah, whatever issues they have or whatever issues I encounter, to try to help international students and support any efforts of helping them.
Okay. Daniel, you're up next.
Yeah, two, I've got an external one, which is to shore up and make sure that the food bank here on campus is going to be worthwhile and workable for years to come. And then on the internal is making sure that those marginalized people feel that the GPSC is a place that they can come and help alleviate racism, sexism, homophobia on this campus.
Thank you, and Daniel, thank you so much for your awesome job you've done with diversity. I really appreciate that. I think you've done an amazing job on that front. I was actually hoping that you're going to say something relating to diversity and marginality. Today they asked me a question about it at Faculty Senate, and I've been asked that question multiple times. What are we doing about marginalized students? And anytime they ask me, I just think of Daniel. Thanks for what you've done so far. Jared, you don't feel pressure to share anything with us, unless you want to. Otherwise, we...
Oh, well, I wasn't expecting to say anything, but I feel honored that you include me just as the guest here at the meeting. I stated my goals last meeting, and that part of my goals was to have goals here, which is, so I'm really happy we're having this discussion. I guess I have an internal and an external goal specifically, mirroring what a few other people have said tonight. I want our marginalized, not just people, but specifically the different colleges. And I don't want to use marginalized because it's a buzzword, but I just want to say our colleges who have not had participation in GPSC to really get them involved. So like we always have medicine people show up. We always have like, pharmacy people. We always have SLAT. We have like different groups who are always here, but we have like certain colleges who have never really showed up before. And I'd really like to reach out to some of them specifically, for example, College of Phoenix. And then my second goal, my external goal, but it's kind of internal, and that is that we really need to join or die here as a council. And we see each other as the enemy, and we are supposed to be each other's biggest advocates. Like, we are supposed to be graduate students. The whole reason we have a council is so we can work together towards a common goal, not to push against each other and try to one-up each other or stay around for another year or get someone gone or do something. Our whole goal is to join as grad students. So that my second goal, my first one being to involve more colleges, my second goal would be to really try just to unite us and realize that we are not the enemy internally. We're supposed to be here to gather and gather strength off each other, not to fight each other.
Okay,
Sorry if that was too preachy.
Thank you. Had noted down. Jasmine, it's
So Jared stole my goal. Yeah, I also want to make sure that we're reaching all of the groups on campus that we've historically done a terrible job of reaching, either because we didn't know about them, such as the SJDs in the College of Law, and really all of the non-JD students in the College of Law, because it turns out that there are like 15 programs that we just didn't even realize existed. Or the people we knew existed but didn't realize they even wanted to be part of us, meaning College of Medicine Phoenix. There's actually a College of Pharmacy up in Phoenix as well. There's various online, yeah, right? Exactly, we just didn't even know about them. We found out, me and Sajin found out when we were at the orientation for College of Pharmacy PharmD. So just hitting all of these populations that exist, but that we have not historically done a good job of reaching. I want to try to fix that. That way going forward, everyone else will have a much easier time including all of these different people, because like once we do this like work the first time, I don't think this is going to happen again if we do it right. So that's one of my goals. But because Jared stole that one, I'll have a different goal instead. So my other goal is to try to get external funding for research grants, and then because of how I'm planning on trying to get external funding, I'll probably wind up accidentally getting some for travel grants or something too. But basically, now that it looks like we've actually got our system pretty well down, and you guys should be getting an email from me pretty soon, I mean the whole council will be, about the outcome of our research grant round that closed on the 15th. Basically, it seems like this machine is going to be running pretty smoothly, and so it won't take nearly as much of my time to try to patch it up and fix it and get it running in the first place, and so I'll be able to devote more time to trying to get external funding sources. I will say though that it looks like we're actually doing pretty well with the amount of money we have to give out and the amount of grant applications we're getting and the quality. It looks like we're actually okay because we cut our grants in half from last year, and so with our budget cut in half from last year, it's actually fine. But, you know, obviously getting more money is always better, so.
So two key things that are important to you this year is to improve outreach to colleges, which you said Jared's goal, but it's still your goal. And secondly, to help us expand our grant programs by getting external funds. Thank you. Jim, have you had time to think through?
Yeah. No, not really.
We'd like you to think through, because I'm only going to do this
I'll
today.
think it through and get back.
No, today, please. I'm just going to give you a few time while I share mine, but today, I'm going to have this today, not tomorrow, please. So for me, when I came in, I had 3 words that was very important to me, and 2 of those words remain what is still going to drive me for the rest of the year, and that's accountability and advocacy. I've kind of coined it accountable leadership and advocacy, and the point is that I want to help, with your help, let me put it that way, build an organization that is accountable to those it actually serves, and that's grad students, not to us as individuals, but to grad students. So everything I want to do this year, everything I want to speak about this year, whether with administration or with anybody, it's something that I'm going to know that behind or at the back of my mind, or maybe at the front of my mind I should say, it's going to be for grad students, not for my personal gain, not for the personal gain of anybody who's in this council because you're my friend, but because I want to serve grad students. And advocacy, it's a big word for me going forward this year. Like Jessie has rightly said, I think she's been doing a good job educating me with the difference between educating people and advocating. And I'm glad that we really have our experience and our expertise in this coming year. I'll be really, really, really interested to work closely with you, because I think you have a very robust experience that we can leverage on in terms of our advocacy efforts on several things that we will be talking to administration and state people on. So advocacy and accountable leadership, that's what it is for me going forward. And I might have to step on some people's toes in achieving these goals. So that I want to start by apologizing upfront. If I step on your toes, it's not because I hate you, but it's because this is something I am determined to achieve before I leave this place. I only have this once to do it right, and I'm going to do everything within my power to do it right. So please, I apologize beforehand when I step on your toes, but don't be the one I step on your toes on, if you can. Jim, your turn, so that we can move on past this. We have 15 more minutes.
Yeah, I'll have to get back to you.
When do you want to get back to me?
Send you an email in the next couple of days.
In the next couple of days. When exactly? I
Pretty
like
busy.
Maria to
I
have
to
that
check
on
my
the
schedule
agenda.
in the next couple of days.
When exactly, please? I want to have a specific date.
By Friday.
By Friday. Okay. By Friday, I'm going to have something from you, Jim. And lastly, on that point, I wanted to talk about our meetings. Unfortunately, we've had meetings that are not. I mean, sometimes I find it difficult to invite external people to come to our meetings because I don't want it to come in and experience the kind of drama we experience in our meetings, which is unfortunate because I think we can actually do better, and I want us to do better going forward. So I want us to kind of agree on certain things as a team. This is not me proposing anything. This is what we're going to agree on as a team, that this is what we want in our meetings. And if anybody goes against it going forward, we will decide as a team what we want to do with them. Whether we want to throw them away from our meeting or politely ask them to leave or whatever step we want to take, or this is us taking back our meeting as a team. Nobody would come make us look bad going forward. So I want us to decide and agree on the kind of things we want to see in our meetings going forward. If anybody has a point, an idea you're thinking of, this is the kind of meeting you want to see, we're going to share a few ideas very quickly, and we're going to come up with maybe 3 or 4 points and say this is what we're going to stand by going forward. This is how our meetings are going to look. And if anybody is going against it consistently and we keep telling you, then we will take action against you. And it's not going to be because we want to offend you, but because we want to be accountable to people we're serving. Anybody?
Yeah. One of the things that's most difficult about my job is keeping up with who's talking all the time, and so that's part of the deal. But it would make my life a lot easier is rather than having basically subcommittee discussions in the main meeting, if committees could do their job and come to the meeting with an idea with a spokesperson who has their particular points, rather than have me having to do a tennis match every time, because most of the arguments we have in those meetings don't belong in the main meeting. Most of the things that we talk about don't belong in the main meeting. They need to be done in particular subcommittees where those things move on. And even when we don't have a particular subcommittee meeting, particular subcommittee for that thing, we ought to be creating ad hoc committee meetings for that specific thing. So that's what I would like to see us do, a lot more passing of things and a lot less discussion of things.
Okay.
Can I share?
Sure.
I think this is all, I really agree with all of this. I think this is wonderful. This is what we should strive for. Again, I'm just saying from my past experience as secretary,
Can we speak
nothing.
of your future experience, please?
Yeah, but the past is.
I want to move past from the past.
No, but this isn't connect. Well, I'm just gonna say that, you know, sometimes it's good. It's not always good to say something controversial or anything during meetings in the general council, but like being able to express your opinion in general is good. So if as long as we're not feeling stifled in expressing our opinion, then we should be fine. I mean, I think we should go as a group, but at the same time maintain our individual voices. If we feel like we want to say something, we should be able to say it without being scared of retaliation of any sort. So I agree that we should be as a team, but also have individual voices. That's all.
Okay, so I'm using the word be respectful and polite. Does that say what you're trying to say?
Yes, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other person?
I'd just appreciate if people could keep the, hey, could you repeat what you just said to a minimum? Mostly because, well, for one thing, if you all bring headphones to the meeting, it's live streamed, but it's on like a 30-second delay. So you just unmute the stream. If you miss something, you can actually hear it again. But that aside, it actually is pretty disrespectful to not pay attention to someone the first time and have to ask them to repeat themselves. And if you're asking them to repeat themselves 2 or 3 times, let's be honest, it's not because you didn't hear them the first time, it's because you're trying to make a point about them. And I think that type of passive aggressiveness is very problematic because a lot of people don't know how to handle it. That might be the first time they've ever encountered it. And they will just walk away from GPSC if they see that too much. And so I think that sort of thing should hopefully stop. And Maria, I want to make it clear, I'm not talking about you. If you're trying to get something correct in the minutes, that's very different.
Thank you.
Okay, any other person? Marcus, you had something to say?
I'm learning as I go. But one of the things that I've been doing myself is just writing things down that would be important for me to get to an individual and not asking that individual during the meeting and just focusing on things that would work for the whole group to interact and give me suggestions. And I think that can help to get things going a little quicker. Just having a little bit more individual communication outside the meeting if I want specified questions or need further information.
Thank you. I'm going to also add to that point, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
In terms of writing things down, I've noticed that with our meetings, sometimes EB meeting and GC meeting, you have a lot of interruptions, and I don't like that, where I'm still trying to say something and someone is stopping me from saying what I'm trying to say. If you have a strong point that you want to oppose what I'm saying with, please write it down. And when I'm done talking, you raise your point. Don't jump into my discussion and cut me short. I think it's very impolite. I think it kind of ties back to being polite. And let me remind us that these things we're saying now are also going to be applicable to our meetings as executive board members. And I think Daniel has done a good job with trying to take that down to the general council. I think once we can set our standard as EB members, it's going to go down to the council quite easily. That's my opinion. Any other person has anything to say about this? We'll have 9 more minutes to get out of here. Any other person?
I just wanted to say I'm really glad you brought that up because personally me, like, I think I know for sure that like my culture really like has no, like, everyone cuts everyone off and that's totally fine. And like I wanted to know, I think everyone, you know, if there's something we're deciding, you know, this isn't what we're gonna do, then that we're on the same page. I think that's very good to know. Because I think I might cut off someone sometimes just because I'm not even thinking about it. It's not a rational thing that I'm thinking, so I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay, any other points?
I have something to report. If we have.
Yeah, we'll get to that now. Any other person? Other than that, we're moving on to report. Reports, if you really have something to report in this meeting, would you? I think you're the first. I can't find my
Social chair is first.
Yeah, June and Maria helped me out for the event on Friday. I got an email from Richard Pfeiffer saying that it went really well. I greatly appreciate your assistance. Dan, you're going to be helping me out for next Friday. I'll give you that information. Thank you so very much. I was just working on more collaborations with other groups with helping them with the events and things that they need to continue community and collaborations within their areas.
Thank you. Mara, you're next.
Sorry, nothing to report. I'm working on the minutes, trying to survive my health situation. That's all.
Jim, you're next.
Well, let's see, for my treasurer's report, I see here that we, Zach managed to get an extra $5,000 for travel grants from Student Affairs before he left. And he got $12,000 for research grants from individual dean contributions. Now we also got an extra roughly $9,000 from Zach not getting paid. And it looks like Zach also made about $200 in personal contributions to GPSC. So I think we all owe a debt of thanks to Zach, and I would propose that since he's been president for so long, I would propose this council to write a formal letter of thanks to Zach
gonna send them on his way.
I'd also like to make sure we get a formal letter of thanks to those deans who gave us a bunch of money without really
Yes.
we're being required to do so, because it's hard to get money out of the dean.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure we thank everybody.
For the future. Yeah, I'm gonna follow up with those things. We actually had those conversations. I think I know 6 or 7 of them who made those contributions. I'll follow up with them to say thank you to them.
Could you send out who those people were? Maybe the next meeting present?
Yeah.
Or maybe Jimmy
I know
could
it's
present next meeting?
engineering, science. Once I have the list. I'll send it to you.
That's
Those
great,
two
that's great.
I recall correctly.
Sorry, I'm not supposed to speak in these meetings. But just like, we always like bring up bad things, I think it'd be a great thing to bring up a good thing in a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daniel.
I met with Greg Byrne and the athletic directors and the architects. This was the very first meeting about fixing the stadium, which needs to be fixed. Apparently a pipe burst at the last game and one of the pools collapsed. So we have no way of fixing any of that without money. The student fee is coming, but it's coming for new people only starting next year. So none of the current students will pay it, but we're getting grandfathered out of it, but everyone coming in will know that they're going to be having to pay an increased fee. That's the plan. And then basically today was to get me and the president of ASUA and the leader of Zona Zoo talked about what our needs as students are for the stadium. And so we brought up the grad student who got shouted out of Zona Zoo, and we brought up, and I suggested again, selling alcohol in the strongest possible terms. Also getting credit cards into the concessions and so on. So if anyone wants any more information, then they can talk to me about it. And I'm going to continue going to these meetings as much as possible.
When is the next meeting? That was the one you had today,
Yeah,
right?
that's the one I had this afternoon. They haven't scheduled one. I'll make sure that everybody's aware of it, and so anyone who wants to come is welcome, as far as I can tell. So
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming. So the fees they're proposing, is that going to be part of student fees, or is that another name for the athletic fees?
they're gonna add an athletic fee to the new people coming in next year. That's what they're wanting to do.
So basically, they did not take that away like they said they did.
Well,
That's what it sounds
what they
like.
didn't do is they didn't start charging us.
But
So
they wanted
we
to
Well,
start
no, they were never
trying
gonna
to-
start charging us.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
then,
All right,
So apparently
So-
that conversation is not even over yet.
time to,
I think, yeah,
Get
this was
back
the
on
very
that.
first meeting, so that's the thing that we're gonna have to deal with.
Yeah. Did they say how much they're proposing?
No.
of course.
Okay, I think.
Cool.
I think my grad school cynicism made it clear that I wasn't terribly happy about doing this. When I told them how terrible I thought their